Thank you very much, Ms. Mara, for that wonderful introduction. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this presentation on Stress Busters, how to manage work-related stress through physical activity. So before I begin, let's have a quick survey. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressful is work in the past 2 weeks? So to participate in the survey, you can scan the barcode that you can see on the screen, or go to Slido and type 2083732. Okay, so let's give people about 10 seconds to answer this survey. And let's check how stressed people are. All right, so I can see that some of us here are not stressed at all, so that's good. So perhaps you've been doing some of the things that I'll be sharing today, and if not, maybe you can add a thing or two in your Stress Buster toolbox. For those who are stressed or feeling stressed, you're in the right place, and I hope that you learned something today that you can do to manage your stress. So work-related stress has become a major health issue, not only in industrialized countries, but also in developing countries like the Philippines. And according to the recent Global Workforce Survey, about 45% of Filipinos reported experiencing stress, and it's the highest in Southeast Asia. Of course, we can argue about the way they conducted the survey, but one thing is for sure, work-related stress is common. And if it remains unmanaged, work-related stress can be detrimental to an individual's health and well-being. So studies have shown that work-related stress can result to poor mental health, increased smoking and alcohol consumption, so these two very bad behaviors, increased cardiovascular disease risk, and consequently absenteeism and reduced performance at work. So how do we manage stress? Engaging in regular physical activity has been proven to be a good way to reduce stress. Regular exercise or physical activity releases endorphins that improve mood and promote relaxation. It also enhances feelings of well-being by reducing symptoms of anxiety and depression and increased vigor and energy. And finally, regular physical activity or exercise improves overall physical health and well-being. But what is physical activity? So physical activity is basically any light to vigorous movement that we do every day from the moment that we wake up until the moment that we go back to bed and sleep. So physical activity can be performed at a variety of intensities also. So it can be part of our work. So for example, if we do labor-intensive tasks like shoveling sand and mixing cement, that's part of our overall daily physical activity. It can also be part of what we call the domestic chores. So for example, when we cook food at home or mop the floors to clean our house, that's part of physical activity. It can also be part of transportation. So for example, if we walk or cycle to work, so that's active transport or transportation-related physical activity. Or perhaps what most of us will be familiar with are what we call leisure time physical activity or participating in exercise or sports activities. And if you can see the energy expenditure continuum on the screen, at the left side or the low end of intensity range is what we call sedentary behaviors, which I will focus on later in my second presentation. So when we talk about physical activity, so these are light physical activity, moderate physical activity, or vigorous physical activity. But if engaging in regular physical activity is considered a stress buster, can we simply do more chores at home or be active at work to release stress? So what do you think? So are all types of physical activity beneficial for mental health? Let's have another quick survey. So again, you can scan the barcode or go to Slido to answer the survey. This is a quick one. But what does the scientific literature tell us? So in a meta-analysis of 98 studies published between 1998 and 2015, the authors found that only leisure time and transportation type of physical activity are positively associated with mental health. So did you get the correct answer? But why is this so? So they explained that when we participate in leisure time physical activity, it provides us with opportunities to develop our confidence and self-mastery. So for example, if we play sports require skills that we need to master, and that sort of help us improve our sense of confidence. Leisure time physical activity also has some social aspects. So for example, if we play sports, we actually engage in sport not only by ourselves, but we also play with others, which can also be beneficial for mental health. Leisure time physical activity also provides distraction, which diverts us from stressful life events, which again leads to improved mental well-being. And then finally, leisure time physical activity are most of the time personally chosen. So we usually choose the type of activities that we enjoy and we find beneficial. So therefore, promoting physical activity, specifically during leisure time, compared with other physical activity domains, may be most beneficial in terms of mental health promotion and the prevention of mental ill health, including stress, anxiety, and depression. So how to choose the right type of exercise? So here are some guidelines. For the type of activity, evidence suggests that both muscle strengthening and aerobic types of exercises or sports can result in reduced stress and depressive symptoms. So examples of muscle strengthening exercises are yoga classes that include weight-bearing poses and traditional or group weight training programs. And examples of aerobic types of physical activities are jogging, doing Zumba, or playing basketball for at least 30 minutes. So the key really is to find the activity that you enjoy doing. So just a plug, UPCHK is slowly reviving its community recreation programs, so you can check out the programs that we offer. But for how long? So how long should we do these activities? For general health benefits, any bouts of physical activity can be beneficial as it adds up to our daily or weekly total. But in terms of mental health, some evidence has shown that short bouts of physical activity, about 10 to 15 minutes of physical activity, can be enough to reduce stress, depressive symptoms, and improve self-esteem in adults. Exercises, even as short as 3 minutes, can also be beneficial. So for example, there's a study that found that 3 bouts of stair climbing for 1 minute each round resulted to increased positive mood state and decreased negative mood state or feeling tense or tired. So that's immediately after the brief intervention. So my personal recommendation for mental health, including stress reduction, is to do at least 10 to 15 minutes of leisure time physical activity. And how much? So how much exercise or physical activity should we do? Of course, to maintain or improve health, the minimum recommendation is 150 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity. So meeting this recommendation should be protective against stress and developing depression. However, people who experience stress are more likely to be physically inactive. So they should engage or encouraged to do some light to moderate intensity activities first until the behavior becomes regular and they're actually doing the activity regularly. And then from then, we can slowly increase the duration and frequency of the exercise until we reach the minimum recommendation for health. So just remember that doing some activity is better than doing none at all. So you can perhaps consult websites or an exercise professional to help you create an individualized plan and something that is actually realistic for your based on your current exercise behavior. But where should we do these exercises? Okay, again, for physical health, it doesn't matter. So you can do the exercise indoors or outdoors. But research has shown that for mental health, exercising outdoors, especially in what they call green or blue spaces, may be helpful. So some evidence suggests that physical activity done outdoors are actually associated with greater reductions in depression and anxiety compared to physical activity performed indoors. Some studies also found that blue spaces like the oceans, the beach, is associated with higher well-being. So this suggests that nature, perhaps particularly green and blue spaces, may be important if the goal is to improve mental health. So finally, should we exercise alone or with others? So basically, the evidence around the role of social interaction in physical activity, mental health relationship is still preliminary, and therefore more research is needed to examine whether physical activity with others is more beneficial than physical activity alone. So for example, I personally like doing exercise on my own, and I don't like doing my activity with others. So in that case, for me, exercising alone is more beneficial for both my mental and physical health. Studies suggest that perhaps it is the quality of relationships that matter. So for example, I actually play sports with others because for me, it's my time to socialize and spend quality time with my friends and loved ones. So that feeling of belongingness may foster improved mood and well-being, as research said, and more than just simply doing exercise but with others. So exercising with others, especially if you're exercising with people you know and you have good relationships with, is important for mental health. So the more important message really is to find an activity that you enjoy and you find personally meaningful. So spending time with others is one of the reasons for exercising. Make sure that everyone has a say on what activities the group will do. Okay. So finally, the guidelines suggest that we simply need to move more and do physical activity in any of the life domains. So remember, we can do physical activity during our leisure time, at work, doing chores at home, and during our transportation or going from one place to another by walking or cycling. However, for mental health, research shown that it's only leisure time physical activity and active transport which are related to mental health and improve stress. So we encourage individuals to participate in small amounts of enjoyable physical activity, ideally during leisure time or during active travel. So to end this presentation, basically I have 3 takeaways. So first is to do your physical activity during leisure time or active travel. Prioritize activities that you enjoy or personally choose to do, something that you find rewarding, enjoyable, and you see benefits in doing. And also, some physical activities better than none for both physical activity, both physical and mental health. So that's it, and thank you for your time.